Okay, good afternoon. This year is Le'ela Nishmas, Osher Shmuel Chaim and Ephraim V'Tziona, Esther Basara, William and Helen, Rachel Bas Yosef, David ben Avraham, Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach, Fred ben Richard, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah Bas Yitzchak, and Avraham ben Mordechai David, Reuven ben Shmuel, Shoshana Bas Elchanan, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Chaim ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Chaim ben Fega, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Leila Nishmatam. Today's Haftorah, Parshas Ki Thavo, Mamish, ripped from today's headlines. If you don't look at it inside, you think it's Haftorah, Parshas Ki Thavo, from the book of Isaiah, chapter 60. Avi, you have one? You can take a good book there, as the good book says. The Haftorah, Parshas Ki Thavo, Isaiah 60. So in the art scroll, it's in the back there in the blue books, and in the Birnbaum, I don't know where it is, but it's somewhere in the Birnbaum. Somewhere. 1201. 1201 in the art scroll, and in Birnbaum, 421 in the Birnbaum. There are plenty of Birnbaums there, the gray ones. Keep past Avi, 421 in the Birnbaum. Kumi oiri, kivorech, arise and shine. We all shine on, like the moon and the sun and the stars. They got everything from us. Can you believe that? Kumi oiri, arise and shine, for your light has arrived, and the glory of Hashem shines on you. What does he mean? Now, from 2,800 years ago, what does he mean? Israel shines in medicine, in high tech, in low tech, military economics. We are the startup nation. We're the powerhouse. We shine in every field. We are the envy of the UN. Therefore, they hate us so much. So the prophet says, open your eyes. Look how we're shining. 70 years ago, we came out of Auschwitz. A third of our people were slaughtered, destroyed, and 70 years later, or less. Avi, you're good in math. 1945 to now is how many years? About 71. About at least 70 years. 70 years. 71. A third of our people slaughtered, broken, homeless, defenseless. And now we are the mightiest army in the Middle East. And not only that, according to James in England, we are number 4, the fourth powerful most army, not just in the Middle East, in the whole world. That's unbelievable. With 100 nuclear missiles, at least 100. Kumi oiri, shine, the prophet says. Appreciate what Hashem has done for us. Thanks to Jonathan Pollard. Right? So the Pasuk is saying, lift up your eyes. See number 4, lift up your eyes all around and see. Appreciate the miracle of our time. Little Israel. Right? Remember that t-shirt they sell in the Rova, Avi? America, don't worry. Israel has your back. Wow. Yeah. Well, America, yeah, that's for sure. Nechama, we have to wake up. Shine. We're shining. And the prophet is telling us that we have to what? Isaiah 60, right? Pasuk 1. Look at number 3, Isaiah 63. Nations will walk by your light, and kings by the brilliance of your shine. We are the envy in all fields, Avi. High tech, low tech. The envy of the entire world. They all come here. They all come. Even the Arab countries come here, right? Yes. So we have to appreciate that. Now, the prophet goes on, and he says, if you go down to verse 15, he speaks about BDS. I can't believe it. Sarah, Kwinky Dinky? Look at verse 15. Tachat ayotech azuva usnua ve'ein over v'samtich ligon olam esos dor v'dor. Instead of your being forsaken and despised and boycotted, BDS, I will make you into an eternal pride, a joy for generation and generation. The BDS can't stop us, Avi. The prophet predicted. Right? Or forsaken and despised. Well, we are going to be an eternal pride, a joy, door of a door. Now look at verse 16, Avi, just amazing. Verse 16, you will nurse from the milk of the nations, and from the breast of kings will you nurse. $38 billion is a lot of milk. We just got $38 billion from the United States of America. Yeah. Avi, that's a lot of milk. Yeah. That's where the expression cash cow comes from. The prophet is saying, how did he know 2,800 years ago, Nechama? Huh? You will nurse from the milk of the nations. Wow. And from the breast of kings will you nurse. Buy a lot of milky products, Aviva, for $38 billion.
Yeah. You have to pay to get that.
No. But this is mamish the cash cow, Yehuda. You see the cash cow here? Just incredible. And the week when we signed the deal, David, Koinky Dinky, the Haftorah. Just amazing.
Restrictions.
Whatever it is, I'll take the 38 billion. Restrictions and all, right? Right? But anyway, no other nation has received such a huge cash cow as Israel has done this past week. No other nation. We can't deny that. And the prophet is telling you, wake up. Now look at verse 18. You see this, Abraham? If you don't see it inside, you won't believe it. Verse 18. Lo yishama od Hamas ba'artzech. Lo shama od Hamas ba'artzech. No longer will Hamas be heard in your land. Lo yishama od Hamas ba'artzech. It's happening. What? Of course it's happening. In our lifetime it'll happen.
Yes. In our lifetime.
Stay tuned. Lo yishama od Hamas ba'artzech. The prophet says it, you can take it to the bank.
That's right.
Right? He doesn't say when, but we are living this time.
Yeah.
Right? You see all the signs, and I'll prove it to you, Nechama. He goes on, and look at verse 21. Va'amech kulam tzadikim. Now how does the English translate that, Avraham? Verse 21. Va'amech kulam tzadikim. And your people what?
They are righteous. Shall be righteous.
Shall? No, anybody who knows Hebrew, Leah, shall would be you tzadikim. Doesn't say you. It says ve'amech kulam tzadikim. All of your people are tzadikim.
That's right.
That means Meretz will be Haredi? Golda, what's going on over here? Va'amech kulam tzadikim. All your people are tzadikim, including Bibi and Perez, right? And Meretz. David, what's going on over here? Va'amech kulam tzadikim. So my great Rosh Hashiva, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky, Zecher Tzadik Avracha, dealt with this Lily in 1985. I took good notes. He asked this question, what do you mean, Va'amech kulam tzadikim? Meretz is tzadikim? So the great rabbi said in 1985, compared to the rest of the Middle East, he said, if you compare Israel to the rest of the Middle East, the so-called Arab Spring, the savages, the cruelty, we are tzadikim, Kani. You hear what that great rabbi, said? Yes, we are. Compared to the rest of the Middle East and the so-called Arab Spring, we are tzaddikim, who we take care of our enemies and we go out of our way not to hurt innocent civilians. How many Israeli soldiers have lost their lives because they tiptoe around? No other nation is so careful, not collateral damage. That's v'yamech kulam tzaddikim, yes. Who will we compare to? Abu Mamzer and company. V'amech kulam tzadikim, said my great rabbi, Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky. So that's a push-it shot. But according to Kabbalah, David, v'amech kulam tzadikim, this is the secret of Gilgal. God said, you can pay me now, or you can pay me later. V'amech kulam tzadikim. Every Jew, if he's not a tzaddik, will become a tzaddik. After all the recycling. The recycling, Avi, how do you say that in English? Recycling, the Gilgulim. V'amech kulam tzadikim, yes. God cannot afford to give up on any Jew. Can a parent give up on any child? He'll give him another chance and another chance. Sunday we'll talk about more about that. The book of Yonah, how it's a book of Gilgal. But it's amazing. V'amech kulam tzadikim. After all the tikkunim, Avi, and all the gilgulim, va'amech kulam tzadikim. Yes. Yes. Every Jew is going to make it. Every Jew is going to make it. Huh? How do I know? Can a parent give up on any child, no matter how rotten the child is? God is our beloved parent. His first message to Pharaoh, the Chama, B'ni b'chari Yisrael. My child, my firstborn is Israel. Not just my child, my firstborn. So every Jew is like an only child to God. So God cannot afford to give up on any Jew. So after all the recycling jobs, Amech Kulam Tzadikim. Now look at this very famous last verse here. Verse 22 in the Chama. The smallest will increase 1,000. And the youngest into a mighty nation. Bi'ita achishena. In her time, I will hasten it. Yes. Now what does that mean? In her time, I will hasten it. Yes. Make up your mind. If it's on the time, it won't be hastened. And if it's hastened, not time. So the Gemara Sanhedrin 98, Rav Avram says, if we are worthy, God will hasten and speed up the redemption. But if not, it'll come in its time. By the year 6,000, the gun goes off. You know, the clock. So we don't want to run out the clock, David, chas v'sholem. Another 227 years, God forbid. But if we don't do tshuva, God will bring it sooner. But if God forbid not, it'll come bi'ita. It'll come in its appointed time. There's an end game. After the year 6,000, David, the jig is up. So you take your spirulina and you do your exercise. Only 225 years left. You never know, right?
That's right.
All right. Now, that's a simple explanation. Mechama, you're sitting down for this? The Zohar HaKadosh said, Bi'ita achishena. In the time of the redemption, achishena, I will make time hasten. I will make time speed up. Anybody who asks, say, it's Shabbos again? Yes. It was just Shabbos. It's Shabbos again? 2,000 years ago, Rab Chanoch, the Zohar HaKadosh said, Be'ita achishena. When the time of the redemption comes, achishena, I will speed up time. Yes. Time will be like fast forward. Anybody you speak to says, what's going on? Yeah. It's Shabbos again?
Nice. That's right.
Necham, isn't that amazing? Anybody you speak to in America, here, time is it's fast forward. So the Zohar 2,000 years ago said, you hear this, Rabbi Weber? 2,000 years ago, the Zohar said, Be'ita achishena, when the time of the redemption comes, achishena, I will make time fly. Yeah. Why did the moron throw a clock out the window? He wanted to see time fly.
That's so old.
Now, nobody laughed. Not even one body laughed. Nobody laughed. But isn't that amazing? Be'ita achishena, when the time of redemption will come, says the Zohar, time will speed up. And that's exactly what's happening now. So here you have amazing references to current events in the Haftorah. But what's amazing is in the Parshat itself, of Ki Thavo, amazing references to what? To the current events. Amazing references to current events in the Parsha itself. In the Parsha, it speaks about the terrible curses. There's one strange verse there, ripped from today's headlines. Deuteronomy 28, Pasuk 28. In the year 2828. Now, if you don't fasten your seatbelts here, Rabbi Abraham, I'm telling you, this time, not just the Haftorah, but the Parsha itself. Background music. This week, before you read the verse, you got to fasten your seatbelts, Sarah. 2 major generals testified in the defense of this poor soldier who's being persecuted in Hebron. Persecuted. 2 major generals told the IDF prosecutor, are you insane? What are you doing to the morale of the soldiers?
Exactly.
a lieutenant colonel, a prosecutor. So 2 major generals, not 1, 2. No, major generals is a rank below chief of staff. They said, Lieutenant Colonel, are you insane? What are you doing to this poor soldier, this poor hero? Every soldier who goes to the battlefield will have to take a lawyer with him.
Yeah.
Should I shoot or shouldn't I shoot? Well, gee, please don't stab me.
Well,
Put the knife down. Please don't stab me. Says you're insane. Major General Biton and Major General Dayan. Who are they quoting, David? Deuteronomy 28:28. I couldn't make this up. Look at Deuteronomy 28:28. One of the curses is God will strike your leaders with madness.
1079 in Art Scroll.
Deuteronomy 28:28. Isn't that amazing, Avraham? I mean, it's just amazing.
And 326 in the Learn Bible.
This language, I don't know if Major General Dayan and Major General Biton, Rabbi Weber, you think they read the Parsha before they testified?
maybe.
Huh? So what are you, insane? He's telling the IDF prosecutor.
Good.
The lefties are going crazy.
Good.
Because not 1 major general, but 2.
Oh, that's good. Good, amen.
No, it's not off. It's not over yet.
It ain't over till it's over. But Connie, God will strike your leaders with madness. Huh? Nebuch, what they're putting him through. Every combat soldier, you'll have a lawyer with him. The lawyer will say, well, before you shoot the terrorist, you have to talk to him. You don't really want to stab me, do you? You really don't.
That's what we understand you. That a soldier should not have to go into battle with a lawyer.
Well, but anyway, the Parsha of the week is just amazing. Now, what's amazing more, you could Google it, Sarah, you don't have to believe me. In 9/11, 16 years ago, when the towers came down, which Parsha did we read? Parsha Ki Thavo. Now fasten your seatbelts. This week's Parsha, remember like yesterday, 16 years ago, 15 years ago, Slicha. I'm testing to see if somebody's awake. At least somebody's awake. You know the Parsha gold that we were reading? Parsha Ki Thavo 9/11. Deuteronomy 28:52. Anybody want to read it in English? Deuteronomy 28, verse 52.
He'll besiege you in all your cities, and through the collapse of your high and fortified walls.
Your high and mighty towers will collapse. That's what the Hebrew says, Connie. I mean, just amazing. This is the Parsha that was read that Shabbos 9/11.
Yeah.
You could Google it.
Yeah.
And the Torah says that your high and mighty towers will collapse.
That's it.
Coinky dinky? I don't think so. What? Just amazing. Just amazing how the Parsha of the week always speaks to what? Current events. But in the Parsha, the Torah tells us that when you come to Eretz Yisrael, you take huge boulders out of the Jordan River and you write the entire Torah Be'er Hetev. Deuteronomy 27, verse 8. God commands Moses to tell Yeshua ben Nun on Deuteronomy 27, verse 8. When you get to Israel, you schlep out these huge boulders from the bottom of the Jordan River and you write the entire Torah Be'er Hetev. How do they translate Be'er Hetev? Well clarified.
Page 1073 in the
1073 and... So the Talmud Nesota says, what does well qualified mean? Clarified? In 70 languages. So God is commanding Yeshua ben Nun to do Art Scroll before Art Scroll, Lillian. 3,328 years ago, when the Jews crossed the Jordan River, they were supposed to write on huge boulders the entire Torah in 70 languages. That includes English, right? So it looks like Art Scroll before Art Scroll. So Rashi wonders why. All the Jews spoke Hebrew. They didn't speak Yiddish then. They all spoke Hebrew. So why was it necessary to translate the entire Torah when we crossed into Israel in 70 languages, including French? So Sisach Chamim says that all the nations of the world should understand the Torah. Well, wait a minute. That's what Sissa Chachamim says. All the nations, the UN should understand the Torah in the native language. But I don't understand that. Keep the 7, go to heaven.
Right.
So why did the UN have to understand the Torah in their own native language? They only keep the 7, go to heaven. So Yehuda Lev gave the answer. The first Rashi in Chumash. If the UN will accuse us of being occupiers, occupying Palestinian land, occupier, the first Rashi in Chumash. So Rashi says, read the Torah in your native language. We're not occupying anybody's land. This is our land. This land is my land. God gave it to me. An amazing Rashi. 1 minute, please. You're supposed to read, they only have to keep Noachide laws, but they shouldn't say we're occupiers and accuse us of stealing land. Read the Torah in your native language. You'll see the entire book of Genesis, we're not occupying anybody's land. It's given to us by the big boss. So therefore it's necessary to write the Torah in 70 languages. That's our deed. We're not occupiers. Read the deed of Eretz Yisrael, the Torah, in your native tongue. And you see we're not occupying anybody's land. So therefore it's necessary to write the Torah. As soon as we came here, to write the entire Torah on huge boulders in every native language, so they should see that we're not occupiers. Right?
Today's paper, he said, we're occupying the Palestinian land.
So then read the Parshat, occupiers. No, read the first Rashi in Chumash. Just amazing.
They're occupying our land.
That's right. The shoe is on the other foot. Who's occupying whom?
They're occupying
G.
Problem is they were here before we came back.
We were here too. But we were here
Yeah,
before. There were
but
plenty of Jews that were
They weren't here.
Palestinian.
But anyway, I don't want to get sidetracked. I don't want to get sidetracked here, but this is just amazing Rashi that the Torah had to be read in the native language, that the nations should read. They don't want to read, but they see. They believe in the Only Testament, David. Abomination believes in the Only Testament. Let him read the whole book of Genesis. Over and over again, God promised us the land. We're not stealing anybody's land. You don't believe Hebrew. Read it in your native tongue. Ben Kamun. Read it in your native tongue. What is it? Korean, right? Korean, right? 70 languages. Amazing. Now, in this week's Parshat, so the Jews come to the land of Israel, and they have to write the entire Torah, and then they have to climb up 2 mountains. Mount Gerizim and Mount Eval. Where are they? Near Shechem. Why do they have to do that? Rashi says there's another Kabbalah Satorah. Mickey, I always thought that we got the Torah what? Once. But it looks like once is not enough. Who said that? Clint Eastwood? Once is not enough. In this week's Parsha, Rashi tells us that once is not enough. Avi. The Jews, look at Deuteronomy 27. Deuteronomy 27, Pasuk 11, 12, 13, 14. 6 tribes had to climb up Mount Eval. And another 6 tribes had to climb up Har Gerizim. And the ark and the Kohanim were below. And they pronounced the entire Torah, not the entire Torah, but the essential of the Torah. And the Jews answer, Amen, Amen. So Rashi says that this is a second Kabbalah Satorah. A second Kabbalah Satorah. Why is once not enough? Why again? So ask anybody about, I think the Torah was given once in Sinai. But no. Deuteronomy 27, verse 11, 12, 13, 14, etc. And Rashi on Deuteronomy 27, verse 26. Cursed is the people that don't keep the entire Torah. And all the people said what? Amen. Deuteronomy 27, verse 26. You see that? Curse said that all the people that don't accept the entire Torah, and the people said amen. And Rashi in that verse 26 says, here they accepted the entire Torah again.
Yes.
So the question is, why is once not enough?
It had to be done in the land of Israel.
Beautiful. Ooh, don't steal my thunder. But you're on the right path. But before we get there, Nechama, something amazing.
I didn't hear where she said.
She said, because we had to get it again in Eretz Yisrael. It wasn't enough in Shmutz Loretz. The question is why? The question is why, Mickey? Let's go slow. Let's do some text analysis. We have time, please. At the first Kabbalah Satorah in Har Sinai, right, great miracles, the Jews were looking up. They were looking up, right? God was speaking from on top of the mountain. The Jews were looking up, right? We were passive observers, right? We were passive. No input. Here, after every mitzvah, they said amen. After every command, they said amen. After every bracha and after every klala, they said amen. Unlike the first time at Mount Sinai, Avi, we were passive. No input. We had nothing to do but stand back and enjoy the show. Open miracles, God speaking to us. Dan Quayle, Mun, Beershel, Miriam, all the miracles. We were looking up. 40 years later, we got the Torah again. This time, last time, we were standing at the foot of the mountain. Please hear me well. Looking up. Here we're on top of the mountain. On top of the mountain. On top of the mountain. Rashi quotes Tractate Sotah 32. 6 tribes climbed on top of Har Gerizim. And another 6 tribe climbed to the top of Har Evo. 40 years ago, we were on the bottom. And God was speaking from the top. Here, we're on top. Where is the ark? Lamata. Incredible. Kohanim and the Levites and the ark represents God. They were Lamata, Be'emtza, in between the 2 mountains. Wow. So instead of looking up like 40 years ago, where were we looking? Down.
Wow.
What's the message, Nechama?
40 years.
What's the message? Huh?
40 years together.
What's the message? Har Sinai, we were looking up. God was speaking from above. Here, the ark represents God. We always know that. Here, the ark is Lamata. Tractate Sotah 32. And the Jews were looking down and saying Amen. Because in Eretz Yisrael, the land is holy.
Wow.
So God, in Eretz Yisrael, God is not just in heaven. He's down on earth.
And we are
Below. And we are looking down to teach that Eretz Yisrael is as holy as heaven. Who said that? I think I just said that.
You just said it.
Eretz Yisrael is as holy as heaven. So instead of looking heavenward like 40 years ago at Mount Sinai, which was Chutz Loretz, now where we're looking? Down. The ark representing God is down. What is God saying? That Eretz Yisrael is just as holy as heaven. Wow. Therefore, you're looking down.
And we become elevated.
Isn't that incredible? Isn't that incredible? The Kedusha. Otherwise, why put the ark Lamata and wear Lamala? Upside down. But no. Eretz Yisrael is as holy as heaven. Who knows that? And therefore, there's a pasuk, V'safta deganecha. There's a pasuk, David and Shema. You shall gather your grain and work the land. And the Chassam Sofer was a great posek. In Yoredeya, he writes, it's a positive mitzvah. V'safta deganecha. It's a positive mitzvah to work the land of Israel. A positive mitzvah.
Even a plant in the back of my garden.
That's right.
That's good.
Positive mitzvah to work the land of Israel because it's Kodesh. So therefore, in Eretz Yisrael, God says, I need your input. You've got to work the land. So you have to answer Amen after every command. Wow. Isn't that incredible?
Beautiful.
Har Sinai, totally passive. That's Chutz La'aretz. But in Eretz Yisrael, it's up to us to cultivate the land, to develop the land. So instead of looking up, we were looking down in the valley. And we said, Amen, Amen, Amen. Amen. What does Amen really mean? See the word Amen over and over again. Deuteronomy 27. You know how many Amens you have here? 12. You can count them. Devarim 27. See, Pasuk 15, 16, 18, 19. 12 Amens for all tribes. That each tribe was actively involved in applying the Torah, in keeping the Torah. In keeping the Torah. And then the Torah goes on, and it says in Devarim 28, verse 9. Anybody want to read that in English? Devarim 28, 9. Hashem has raised you up to be a holy people as He swore, because you will observe the mitzvahs of Hashem your God and walk in His ways. Did I translate correctly?
Yes.
Now, if I observe the mitzvahs, Sarah, isn't that walking in His ways? There are no extra words in the Torah. Because you observe the mitzvahs of God, and oh, by the way, you walk in His ways. Isn't that redundant? If you observe the mitzvahs, aren't you walking in His ways?
No.
Not always. Why? Beautiful, Chama. A person can observe the mitzvot with a sourpuss. Ever meet a sourpuss? You can do all the mitzvahs with a sour face. So you're observing the mitzvahs, but to walk in God's ways, every morning we hear a blessing from the Kohen. Yor Hashem ponav alecha.
Not in the Galil.
Every morning, Baruch Hashem, the Kohanim bless us.
Only in Jerusalem.
Yor Hashem, no, all Eretz Yisrael, please.
No, I was just there.
Well, I don't know.
And they don't do it in the Galil.
I don't know why, but every morning in Eretz Yisrael,
They don't do
the
it.
Kohanim bless the Jewish people. And one of the blessings is, may God show you a happy, smiley face.
That's good.
So you can do mitzvahs, but if you don't have a smiley face, you're not walking in His ways. Smile, you're on candid camera. Who's filming us? The big boss, right?
That's right.
And then after 120, roll the tape.
Yep.
Roll the tape. What does the Mishnah say in Avos? Ayin roev, ozen shamash. There's an all-seeing eye. If we have a candid camera, so does the big boss.
Yeah.
The Mishnah Navot,
Much better camera.
right? Ayin roa, all-see, and then after 120, he's going to roll the tape.
Yeah.
God says, why'd you have a sour face for? I always smile on you. Yor Hashem ponav alecha. Every morning the Kohanim say, may God shine His smiley face on you. So you do mitzvahs fine, but do it in a happy, smiley way. Smile, you're on, remember candid camera?
Oh, sure. And he was Jewish,
Alan Funt was Jewish.
Yeah, he was.
We are on candid camera. Whether we know it or not, David. So we should smile and not frown. That's walking in what? In Hashem's ways. Smile, you're on candid camera. That's right. That's right. That's right. He was Jewish, by the way. You're right. Alan Funt. Alan Funt was yeah. Now, wait a minute. I asked the question, why was 2 Kabbalas HaTorah necessary? So this gentleman said, because in Eretz Yisrael, but that just begs the question, why is once not enough? So the Maral MiPrague says something amazing. But first you got to fasten your seatbelts. The Maral MiPrague, how come the Torah had to be given twice, Chanoch? So Maral MiPrague says as follows, just like a human being is made up of body and soul. You have a body without a soul, is it a mensch? If you have a soul without a body, is that a mensch? You can't have one without the other. Says the Maharal, just like a human, Maharal, the one who made the golem. 1572. He says, why was another Kabbalas HaTorah necessary in this week's Parshat? He says, just like a human being is made up of body and soul, without either you're not a human being, so a nation is collectively made up of body and soul. When did the Jewish people receive her collective neshama? at Har Sinai.
Yes.
But for 40 years, we were like on the Shama Beli Guf. When did we receive our Guf collectively? When we came to Pisgat Zev, Rechavia. Because look at the text. Look at the text, Deuteronomy 29:3. Devarim 29:3 says, God did not give you a heart to know, yes? Eyes to see, ears to hear until today. What do you mean? For 40 years we had no heart, we had no eyes, we had no ears? Says the Maral, collectively, we didn't have Eretz Yisrael, I ain't got nobody. Get it? Not complete. God didn't give you. You had the Torah. You had your collective soul. But without Eretz Yisrael, you're like a soul without a body.
Which is why our clothes didn't wear out.
And that's why we didn't eat normal food. Look at verse 5, Rabbi Abraham. Deuteronomy 29:5. You didn't eat bread. You didn't drink Diet Coke and Pepsi. Why?
Probably didn't gain any weight.
Why? Why couldn't you? You couldn't eat normal food, Reb Nachum, because you didn't have a collective guf. That you only have when you came out to Ashkelon. To Eretz Yisrael. Wow. So therefore, says the Maral, you needed another Kabbalah Satorah for the guf. You have Torah. You don't have Eretz Yisrael, you're a disembodied soul. If you have Eretz Yisrael without Torah, you're a body without a soul.
Wow.
Either way, you're not a human being. You can't have one without the other.
Good,
right? Eretz Yisrael without Torah is guf, beli neshama. The other way, Eretz Yisrael, Torah, chutz la'aretz, you're a disembodied soul. You're also not a mensch. Maral mi Prague, 1572. And therefore, a new Kabbalah Torah was necessary, Avi, when? When we came to Pisgat Zev. Avi's my neighbor. Yeah. Because only then did we get a collective body. So therefore, another Kabbalah Torah was what? Necessary. And therefore, we couldn't eat normal food for 40 years. Right? Yeah. And we had no heart, no eyes. Amazing verse. Until we came to Eretz Yisrael. Wow. Now, the beginning of the Parshat keeps repeating over and over again. Beginning of the Parsha, which speaks about Bikurim. The mitzvah, Bikurim, Deuteronomy 26:1. Rewind the tape. The mitzvah of Bikurim. It's one of the Taryag mitzvahs where Farmer Goldberg has to bring his basket of fruits to Eretz Yisrael on Shavuos and sing the praises of the land. It's one of the mitzvahs, right? The Medrash Bereshis Rabbah says, B'schut mitzvahs bikurim nivra olam. The entire universe was only created for which mitzvah? Bikurim. The other 612 are chopped liver, chas v'shalom. What's going on? Leah, Bereshis Rabbah on Genesis 1:1 says, B'schus mitzvahs bikurim nivra olam. The entire universe was created for the mitzvah bikurim. Ooh. You hit a home run, you hit a grand slam. You heard what the lady said? She hit a grand slam with the bases loaded. She said, the mitzvah bikurim is the mitzvah of Hakoras HaTov. Gratitude. Where Farmer Goldberg has to express his gratitude and appreciation that he doesn't live in Borough Park, that he lives in Eretz Yisrael, in God's living room. It's the mitzvah of Hakoras HaTov, and the entire universe stands on Hakoras HaTov to express gratitude and appreciation to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for giving us everything. Wow. That's the entire Jewish religion. That's the mitzvah Bikurim. To sing the praises of Eretz Yisrael, not to take Eretz Yisrael for granted, to appreciate every morning we wake up, I'm so excited that I'm not living in Lakewood anymore. I should be excited about that. The mitzvah Bikurim, that's the whole Jewish religion, expressing gratitude. The Samachta b'chol hatoiv. You shall rejoice for all the good that Hashem gives you. Some people are not happy. The secret of the being happy is in Deuteronomy 26, verse 11. V'samachta b'chol hatov. You don't have to go to head shrinkers. The secret to being happy is count your blessings. Be happy with all the good that Hashem gave you. Focus on what you have, not what the other guy has.
That's it.
V'samachta b'chol hatov. Devarim 26:11. Rejoice with the good that Hashem gave you, not for the other guy. There's so much good every person has. Why does he have to focus what he doesn't have? That's the Yetzer Hara.
Rabbi, Nisehu Ashir.
What?
Nisehu Ashir.
Sameach b'chelko. Beautiful, Ray. Sameach b'chelko. V'samachta b'chol hatov. But the Talmud also says, Sarah, Mishlei 18, Matzah Isha, Matzah Tov. The Talmud quotes on this pasuk, V'samachta b'chol hatov, Proverbs 18. Solomon says, Matzah Isha, Matzah Tov. You find a wife, you find goodness. Matzah Isha, Matzah Tov. Appreciate your wife, appreciate Eretz Yisrael, and appreciate the big boss.
You're done.
Appreciate the big boss. Express gratitude to him. Now, Rabbi Yaakov Goldman, does God need my gratitude? Does God need my appreciation? It's not, he doesn't need it. But it's called the trickle-down theory. If we express gratitude to him, perhaps we'll learn to express gratitude to someone that does me good. You see, God doesn't need my gratitude. He doesn't need anything from me. But it's I like the word inculcate. If we inculcate the midah, Hakaras Hatov, expressing it to him, then perhaps we'll learn to express this to people that do good to me. So it's not for God's benefit. It's for my benefit, to be a mensch, to express gratitude and appreciation to someone that does me good. The Kodesh Baruch Hu said, if you do it to me, perhaps you'll learn to do it to your friend. Wow. Right? Yes. To express gratitude, it's very hard to express gratitude. I'll prove it to you, Rabbi Abraham. In Hebrew, you say, Modeh ani lefanecha. What does modeh mean in Hebrew? Who knows Hebrew here? Modeh ani lefanecha. Every morning you wake up with that. What does modeh mean? It means thank you, God, but also means admit. It means to admit. Ask any Ulpan teacher, the word modeh means to thank, but the word modeh means admit. Why is it the same one Hebrew word, Connie, with two different meanings that have to be what? Because when you thank someone, you admit, I couldn't do it without you. And that's not a good feeling. When you thank somebody, you admit that you're indebted to him. We don't like to be indebted. We like to be independent. I thank you, God. I admit that without you, I can't wake up. I can't move a muscle. When people do us good, and we just look away, we feel uncomfortable when it comes to thank them. That's the Yetzer Hara. I really didn't need him. I could have done it without him. That's a sourpuss. What? Mitzvah Bikurim. And this Parsha is always read right before Yom Hadin. Right? Wow. What a powerful Parsha. Now, the Torah keeps repeating over and over again, a land flowing with milk and honey. Right? Look at Devarim 26, verse 9. God brought me to a land flowing with milk and honey. And he goes on with that in Devarim 26, Pasuk 15. Look down from your holy heaven and bless your people Israel. What verse is that? It's Devarim 26, verse 15. Yes. Look down from your holy heaven and bless your people Israel and the land that God has given us as he swore to our fathers, a land flowing with milk and honey. Yes. Again, milk and honey. Then you go down Devarim 27, verse 3, you shall write the Torah when you come to the land that Hashem gives you. A land flowing. I get the picture. Why not oranges and grapefruits? Connie, why does the Torah keep repeating that Israel is a land flowing with milk and honey? I like the grapes and I like the oranges. I like the mangoes here. You eat the mangoes here?
Yes, I have.
So say a land flowing with mangoes. I like the avocados. Why does the Torah keep repeating over and over again, chalav udvash? I'm glad you asked that. Why? Says the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, the Gemara on Bechorot, page 6, says that milk and honey should really be forbidden to eat. You know that? Because milk is Eved min Achai. Elsie the cow is still alive. You're not allowed to eat anything from a living animal. You know that? How can you have a milkshake when Elsie the cow is still alive? Eggs. The Gemara brought Tosfos asked your kasha, how you allowed to have eggs? How you allowed to have eggs? The chicken's still alive, that's a separate issue. But we're focusing now on milk and honey, right? You're taking honey from a bee. First of all, the bee is not kosher, right? And first of all, even if it was kosher, you can't eat anything from a living creature. So how do you have drinking milk when the animal's still alive? If you look in Parshas Vayera, before Abraham gives them to eat milk, he kills the cow first. Take a look.
Rabbi.
1 minute, let me finish. So the Talmud says you're right, it should be forbidden, but since the Torah uses milk and honey to praise Eretz Yisrael, the Torah is not going to praise Eretz Yisrael with impure food. Since the Torah uses milk and honey to praise Israel, ipso facto it became mutar. It should be tameh, but since the Torah uses it to praise Israel, it's giving you, I think it's called a dispensation to eat milk and honey, even though it should be forbidden. Because the Torah would not praise Israel with unclean food. So by praising Israel, milk and honey, the Torah is making it what? Kosher. Stop right there. That's Bechorot, page 6. Bechorot, page 6. Says the Orach Chaim HaKadosh, look at the power of Eretz Yisrael. It can take something that's impure and unclean and make it pure. Milk and honey should be forbidden food. Eved min Achai, coming from a bee. But the awesome power of Eretz Yisrael, it can take something impure and unclean and what? And make it pure. If it can do it for food, it can do it for people, says Orach Chaim. If you want to get pure and clean, leave Lakewood and Borough Park. Come to the land of milk and honey, and like milk and honey, you too will become what? Pure. And he said that's why this Parsha is read before Yom Hadin. Before Yom Hadin. If you want to purify yourself, come to the land of purity. Look what it can do for milk and honey. It can do it for you. But some people just don't get it. Some people just don't get it. That's pretty amazing, huh? Over and over again, a land flowing with milk and honey. So they have to write the entire Torah in 70 languages. Can you imagine? I mean, what kind of task was that? They had no computers then. Huh? So the Ramban says it was a miracle. The entire Torah in 70 languages. Now, how big the boulders are. What? But huge. How many boulders were there? 12. Right?
That's right.
12. So still. Well, the Mount Everest. So the Ramban says it was done al pines, Abi. Don't try this at home. It was done al pines. This is our deed to Eretz Yisrael, that the nations should read it in their native tongue. Okay? The problem is, what happened to these huge boulders, Rabbi Yaakov? What happened to these huge boulders? Where are they? Well, where are they? The question is, what? Maybe they're somewhere in the Jordan River. I don't know where they are, but Har Gerizim, Har Eval, these two mountains outside of Shechem. And it's amazing that Rashi in Parshas Lech Lecha, Sarah. Rashi in Parshas Lech Lecha, when God said, make Aliyah The first mitzvah given to the first Jew was what?
Leave your home.
Make aliyah. Bris Milah many years later. But amazing, the first mitzvah given to the first Jew is make aliyah to Eretz Yisrael. Lech lecha. Where was Abraham's first stop? It was not Ashkelon, it wasn't Pisgat Zev. His first stop was Elon Moreh. Shechem, Elon Moreh. Rashi said, why was Abraham's first stop as soon as he landed at Ben Gurion Airport and he got his what? Luggage? Yeah. He went, Shelley, to a place called Elon Moreh B'Shechem. Says Rashi, why? Rashi in Lech Lecha, listen to this. Says Rashi in Lech Lecha, Shesham Kiblu Yisrael HaTorah. I always thought the Yidden only got the Torah what? In Har Sinai. But Rashi says no, in two places. In our Parsha, but way back in Parsha's Lech Lecha. Chanoch, are you hearing this? Why was Abraham's first stop in Elon Moreh Shechem? Says Rashi, that was where Har Gerizim and Har Eval are located. And therefore his Kindalach are going to accept the Torah there. So therefore that was his first stop when he left Ben Gurion Airport. Elon Moreh Shechem, God showed him Har Gerizim and Har Eval. Shesham Kiblu Yisrael HaTorah. Are you hearing this? Ask anybody in the street, they'll tell you we only got the Torah once. But you'll tell them once is not enough. Now, why is it called Elon Moreh? Says Sifsei Chachamim. Why is Shechem and the place of Har Gerizim, Har Eval called Elon Moreh? What does Elon Moreh mean? Huh? The Elon means what? A tree of teaching. The Torah is compared to a living tree. It's the tree of teaching. That's why the Jews were taught the Torah again. Many people don't know that, the Chama. They think Har Sinai, that's it. But Rashi in two places, in our Parsha, Thavo, and back in Lech Lecha. Why Abraham's first stop was Elon Moreh, why Shechem is called Elon Moreh. That's Har Gerizim Har Eval, Shesham Kibul Yisrael HaTorah. So therefore he went there first. Didn't go to Har Sinai. He went to Elon Moreh, Shechem, Har Gerizim and Har Eval. Wow. That's pretty amazing. Wow. But today it has no Kedusha. Strange. They hold it holy. The Samaritans hold it holy. The Good Samaritans? How good are they? Please. But we don't hold it holy. I don't know why not. Shelley, that's something to think about.
We know one.
Because the Samaritans they know what they're talking about. The Samaritans hold it holy. The question is why we ignore it. Maybe because they took it over.
The air took over his trail.
Maybe that's why. What? We're afraid to go there. What? I'll tell you something amazing. In the book of Daniel, my brother, there, if you read the book Daniel, when he prays, take a look, he gets down on his knees and he goes like this. Take a look at the book of Daniel. Yeah. He gets down on his knees and he prays like this. Some say like this. Rashi and the Radak, he's on his knees. What he does with his hands, one says like this, one says like that. Says the Abarbanel, Sarah, how come we stopped doing it? Daniel was a superstar, one of the Anshe Knesset Hagdolah. Daniel. So if that's the way you're supposed to pray, why did we stop? Because the Goyim took it over. The Abarbanel says because the Christians took it over, we had no choice but to stop doing it. That's what he says in the book of Daniel.
They shouldn't have that power.
We chose to. We don't have to stop.
Right?
They don't have to stop.
We give them. We don't need to let them do the tree.
We'll take it back.
The Rambam's son, Rabbeinu Avraham ben Rambam, testifies that his father, we say Aleinu L'Shabeach 3 times a day, right? V'anachnu koirim mishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei amlachim. The Rambam's son testifies that when his father came home after Shachris, He pulled the shades down, put out a rug, said Aleinu again, spread eagle. And when he came home from Mincha, he did the same thing. He pulled the shades down, took out a prayer rug. And when he came home from Ma'ariv, before he ate dinner, he davened Ma'ariv. In shul, he wouldn't do that.
Right.
Gotta look at him funny. Rambam, what are you doing? Abu Mamzer. So the Rambam says, because the Arabs took it, so we don't do it. But I'm going to do it in private.
I do.
Here the Holy Rambam says.
Yeah, I know.
They stole that from us, Chanoch, the whole prayer rug business.
They did.
They do it 5 times a day. We do 3 times. Anachnu korim. We only do it on Yom Kippur the right way. But the Rambam claims that you should do it every day like that, but not in public because what will they say? You know, it's not. But the Rambam's son testifies in his letters that his Holy Father came home after Shachmas Mincha, said Aleinu again, spread eagle. But you have to put a rug down. You can't do it on a stone floor. You have to put a rug down. So the Arabs stole it from us, so Nebuch, we have to what?
Take it back.
Take it back. What? What?
We take it all back.
What?
It's fine.
Okay. Yes.
I'm so happy to hear you on this subject.
Yes.
This has plagued me and perplexed me for decades because when I was in my 20s,
Right.
I hung out with the Sikhs. And their guy, a lot of Jews now in America, over 40% of the people converted to Sikhism in Canada.
They're seeking the truth.
They're seeking.
They're seeking the truth. But the truth is in the backyard. You know what that guy said? What's his name? The Mahami? What's his name? That guy. The Dalai Lama. I'm not sure. I read it. Dalai Lama. They're Jews coming from Israel, backpackers. They're coming to him to find the truth. He says, you fools. You have the truth in your backyard. You're coming to me? That's right. The Dalai Lama. I read this. Google it. Yeah. Oh, Bali, tell me the truth. You fools. You have the truth. You gave the world the truth. What are you coming to me for?
He offered this very simple explanation.
Go ahead.
If you do this, it brings you to a state of neutrality and grace. This was the guy in the turban who hung out with Shlomo Carlebach a little.
Right.
It brings you to neutrality and grace. So if the Christians stole neutrality and grace, so we're all for mushed and for plenty.
Right. Okay. That's right. But that's what the Abarbanel says. Sunday we have a class on Yonah at 2 o'clock. It's called Nowhere to Run, Nowhere to Hide. That's Sunday at 2, right here. Thank you. Good Shabbos.